Hey lovers, how you guys doing today? I hope everyone had a great day. I am doing well, thank you very much. So I just want to ask a little favor of you guys. You know when you go to somebody's house, you gotta take off your shoes at the door? When you come here, can y'all just go ahead and like the video? It allows for other people to learn about this channel, you know, help YouTube with these algorithms and me with some followers, okay? So we are here today to discuss Ready to Love Season 7, Episode 1. And, you know, get into the fun of it all, right? So, you know, it took me some time to get to the place where you wanted me to be. Oh, now I'm ready. I'm ready to waste people's time. Because that's exactly what they're going to do on this show. You know it. I know it. We see it every season. Okay, so let's just get into it, all right? So Tommy is back in Miami. He's looking great. We know that not too long ago he was not doing well. He was in the hospital, but he's doing well, doing much better, looking great. And he's telling us that there's going to be 16 singles that we're going to meet this season. And at first, we meet Andre. He is 39, an entrepreneur. He's the one with the purple suit. He had like the Miami Vice vibe going on and the little twirly thing in the front of his hair. Yeah, him. So he claims he's a social butterfly. He has like a little bit of a accent. I'm not sure where he's from, but he says he's a social butterfly and he is into buying bottles in sections and looking, you know, being around fly girls. I'm not sure if he's like a nightclub promoter. But he swears that he's not a player right now and he's ready for marriage. And I'm just like, how you a player? You know, you're not a player right now, but you know for sure that you're ready for marriage. People who are serious and ready for marriage, they know. They're not thinking if they're a player or not. They just know it. So I was like, all right, I gotta keep my good eye on you because we already can see it's gonna be some foolishness, right? Okay. Then we meet Corvea. She's a cute Latina. She said her mom is from some Latin country and her father is black. She has a big personality. She's 31 and she likes men that are like 6'1" and over, 6'2" and over, excuse me. So I was like, why these little girls always like these big, ginormous men? It don't take all that. All you need is a 5'9" man, girl. You'll be all right. You don't need a big, tall dude like that, you know? So I thought that was interesting. They start talking, they chit-chatting and everything. And but it doesn't seem like a match. It's just like, you know, they're cordial, they're nice to each other, but I didn't get the vibe that she was really impressed with him, but he did seem impressed with her. He was like, he made some corny joke about her teeth matching his shirt. So that was cool. Then we meet Natasha. She's an attorney, once engaged. She's the one with the striped skunk hair. You see her right here. She says that she's a workaholic and she allows for her career to impact her love life. Next, we're going to see Zuleika. Zuleika, she goes by Z. She's 34 and she's a digital producer. She claims that she is a communicator, very big on communication, and she's an alpha female. We're gonna go into that a little bit more a little bit later. Whenever I hear somebody say they're alpha female, it just kind of like, yeah, we'll go into it a little bit later. So she came in, she was very chatty, she spoke with everyone. You can tell that she is very comfortable networking. She knows how to work the room. So I like that about her. She says that she likes to rub her guy's head while he eats her food. So that gave me the vibe that she likes to perform acts of service and she is nurturing as well. But then she said something about she can be a bit obsessive, and I was like, "Ooh, red flag, chill. Wait, don't, not that. We don't need all of that. Like, calm down." It's one thing to, I get the fact that you may want your guy to eat your food. I remember I used to have a fit when my boyfriend would see that the food is cooked. I share his plate, and then he would go play the video game, do whatever, and the food is getting cold. So when he's ready to eat, he is putting the food back in the microwave. I'm like, yo, you messing up the food, the texture of the food. I shared the plate because you said you were ready. So I don't know why I gotta be talking to you about putting my food back in the microwave when I just heated up. That's inconsiderate. Be nice. So anyway, we meet Dre. He's 39 and a radio personality. Right off the bat, I'm like, ooh, I don't know about this one. He is short and with a quirky personality type. I personally like that, but if it was a bit more refined and he didn't give off the vibe like he would, that he's not, what's the word? What am I looking for? His presentation needed to be a little bit more refined. When you meet him, he got the fro, the sketches, the jeans is looking all like not fitted right. It's giving little boy. He's giving little boy when this is a grown man. He's 39. But what I do like that, he just jumped right in there. He was talking, working the room. He even performed like a quick 16 for the ladies, and they seemed impressed. They really, really like it. One thing I can't stand, though, he said that he thinks being in love is when you're in love, you're supposed to be comfortable farting around your significant other. I think that is disgusting. Y'all can stop. Y'all don't have to do all of that, okay? You need to use the restroom to, release some gas. Make sure you go ahead and do it because it's coming. Don't do that. You don't gotta be all, I'm comfortable, so I'm just gonna let you smell my fart. Like, that's not cool. That's disgusting. I know a lot of people do it, but it's gross. Knock it off. So then we meet Lyndon. He's from Jamaica. He's a bar manager, 33. He says that ladies assume that he's a player, but he's really a nice guy. So I'm like, I don't know. If this is what the first thing that you are bringing up when we first meet you, I'm like, are you really a nice guy? And when you say nice guy, does that mean that you are a pushover? Like, what are you really saying? What is the point, like, of this statement? And why are you saying it right now? Like, that seemed like it's a problem constantly coming up for you to mention it as soon as we see you. But maybe that was editing. We never know, like editing plays a part into how we get to see these people. So next we have Morgan. She's 38, an interior designer. She is stunning. I think she's really, really beautiful, a God-fearing woman, very mature. She said she's ready to settle down. And when she was talking with Lyndon, she said that she was a little bit insecure about the fact that he is a bar manager and he doesn't get home until about what she said 5 o'clock in the morning. She doesn't feel too comfortable about that. That just makes her feel like they may not be compatible because she's not into partying and that's his life, So I can understand that she's not too comfortable speaking or making him be like a priority for her because the lifestyle is not compatible. I can see that. Next we meet Marcia. Okay, so I'm Panamanian, so we say Marcia. I think she said her name was Marcia, but on this channel we're gonna call her Marcia because I'm never gonna say it right. She's 34, a fashion designer. She had like this Ellie Saab style of dress with the frills and everything. It looked cute. I remember I had a top similar to her dress not too long ago. She loved herself. She said she would marry herself. She says that that's probably why she's single, because she loved Marcy. And when I hear somebody say that, it to me, like she's saying that she understands how her lover will want to be treated, and she's going to meet their needs. Not necessarily that they would have the same love language, but she would understand the fact that he would want to be loved in a certain way, and she's going to make sure that he feels that love. Is, you know, basically that she's aware of her partner's needs. You know, so I was like, okay, she's very cute, very lively, very bubbly. She sat down with Blue, aka Damien. he's 40, and he has these beautiful blue eyes. Beautiful. I mean, they're really captivating. I liked his eyes. He's 40 years old with a 5-year-old. He owns a liquor store and a hookah lounge. And he's very spontaneous. I think he was handsome. He said that, you know, he'll say, you know what, it's random Tuesday. We're going to go and I'm going to book a flight. You want to come? I'm like, yes, sign me up. Hi, Blue. Sign me up. I like that type of time. He's adventurous. And honestly, I can relate to that. Like, I'm in this space where, you know, I want to have more fun, and that is his type of time. That's his vibe. He and Marcia really, really hit it off. Marcia even said that she feels safe around him, which is a great compliment. But ladies, I want you guys to be a little bit careful. Be mindful when you feel all that safe so soon. Just contain yourself and don't really go in too much about your personal business. Let him give a little, and then we give a little bit back, because sometimes we can get flighty when we feel safe with somebody and it's not really safe, you know? You don't want to overshare. So then let's see. Oh no, my notes just got a little misplaced. Let's see. So then we meet Mercedes. She's 31. She's a flight attendant. She's very cute, bubbly, nice braids. And she says that she always wanted to be a flight attendant. Like, she used to live near a landing strip, and she would see the planes come in and out. And she just always thought that, you know, when she gets older, she's going to have a career in which she would need to fly around the world quite often. So good for her. You know, I think it's really cool when you know what you want to do in life, and then you actually able to make it come to fruition. So good for Mercedes, excuse me. So then Tommy comes out and tells them that, you know, you guys need to come out the gate and go deep. Come, like, you know, do that right away. And then he introduced us to Simone and Rashid. So that way they can give a little bit of insight. I was really, really excited to see Simone and Rashid. I watched their YouTube show called Ages and Stages, and they're a really, really cute couple. And I'm so happy that, you know, to see a successful couple come from this show. So they came out and they explained they were dating for a total of 1.5 years. They've only been exclusive for 1 year, but, you know, she's done it. If you follow them, you know that they've moved in. Things are going very, very well. So then we meet DeMarco. He's 37, and he's an accountant. He's into fashion, and he asked Corvea, like, what type of shoes do you like? And she gave her answer, but it gave me, I was like, you got a little foot fetish? Like, what you into, DeMarco? He says he likes baddies with a fat ass. That's what he says. I'm like, okay, this is how you want to come in here. All right, but y'all ready to love? Okay. All right, so we meet Suan, excuse me. She's 39. She's an attorney. We'll come back to her because they didn't really give too much insight on her right away. But she was a pretty brown skin girl. Very cute girl. We meet Anthony. He's 39. He's a nurse practitioner. He's a father. And he was ready to find a wife and prioritize a woman connecting with his daughter. So he explains that to Mercedes, and Mercedes and him hit it off. Like, they sat down, they had a good conversation. I was like, okay, let me keep my eye on these two, because the synergy was nice. Next, we see Rashid and Simone sit down with Anthony, Mercedes, Morgan, and Andre to discuss how they connected. And they're explaining, like, you guys got to get deeper. Like, make sure that you are asking the right questions. You don't have a lot of time, so you can't treat it like any other date that you have been on. You really need to make sure that you guys are diving in right away, So I thought that was some good advice. Then we see Morgan sitting with Tony. Tony is 42. He's a tax professional. And he has 2 boys, 6 and 9. I did say Morgan, right? Yeah, it's Morgan that was sitting with Tony. He's a God-fearing man, and plays, he likes to play basketball with his boys. I really liked them two together. Tony was very vulnerable. He shared right away. Well, Morgan asked if his parents were married, and Tony explained that he didn't grow up in a 2-parent household. In fact, he doesn't think that their parents were ever together. He talks about being brought up in the projects and how he did not want that for his kids. But, he attributes his mother to being a great mom and providing everything that they needed. He also explained that she's a pastor, so God is very, very central in his life. He asked Morgan if she was covered by the blood, which indicates to me that he is definitely involved in church. It's not just like, okay, I'm saying this because I know that this woman likes God-fearing men. I really believe that at least he was raised in the church. There's that much we could definitely attest to. When you hear people using language like that, that is an indication that they at least know, they at least know God, So Morgan, she expresses that, she is nicknamed Pastor Morgan, and that she loved God. Like, so that was good that they connected spiritually like that. I was like, okay, this is giving hope. I like this. This looks good. So then Corvea, DeMarco, and Lyndon is sitting down chatting. They're having like a little group chat. Corvea asks DeMarco, like, why are you single? And DeMarco said because nothing really flourished with anybody that he was with, which is like an obvious answer. I really don't like when people ask that question, like, why are you single? Like, why are you single? Didn't work out with anybody else. But Corvea did ask an essential question, which is, have you ever been to therapy? And he says that he has. The Corvea says that she finds therapy to be important, and it is. She doesn't want a man that doesn't make his mental a priority. And I agree. You want to make sure that a man is well in his mind and in his body and within his spirit. So good for her for asking that poignant question. Then the conversation went on to Corvea saying that she doesn't like a man that is not independent. She doesn't want a man that's a roommate. So she's saying all that, like really, really emphasizing that she doesn't want a dependent man. And then she says she feels like he should be building on himself before trying to take on a woman like her. So he's saying all that. She's saying all of that. And Lyndon is sitting there and he has a roommate. So he's like, oh, wow. Coming up with all these. He's like, I have a roommate, but it's because my landlord just gave me a month to find a place, and it's kind of hard to find a place when you're working. Blah, 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 blah. She just was like, yeah, get it together. Okay, figure it out. So then with that, Lyndon was like, yeah, she's too judgmental. So no love match there. Okay. We meet Jeffrey. She is very, very pretty. She gives me like Brandy from Thin Lines and Love and Hate, from a Thin Line, Love and Hate. She looks like, she gives off that vibe, that Lynn Whitfield vibe in that movie. Not that she looks like her, but the way she was presented was very, regal. And she's an executive assistant. She has 3 kids. And she's really excited and inspired by Simone and Rashid. When we meet her, she's sitting with Blake. Blake is 44. He's a corporate security officer. And I see a lot of people saying online that he came off very arrogant. And what he does come off. See, there's a thin line between arrogance and confidence. But the thing is, he gives off cop. That's what he gives off to me. I think his security job spills over to his everyday life. And he gives off that arrogant cop-like attitude. So it's not really becoming, to say the least. Not to mention, he has not 1, not 2, but 3 kids by 3 different women. No bueno. We don't like that. Like, I don't know why. Why you keep bringing us? That's not nice, love. Let me be nice. I just don't understand. Like, it doesn't make sense. We are trying to find people who's ready to love, and you represent Black people. Don't we want the best to be represented? The man who's never been married. You know what? I'm going too far in with this right now, so let me just cool it a bit, okay? So then we have Rashid and Simone sitting with Jeffrey, Blake. And Simone explained that she was getting bored with the men that she was coming across in her everyday life. So that's what, kind of propelled her to come on the show. And when she met Rashid, they were able to form a foundation of friendship and be vulnerable with one another. So now, their relationship was able to flourish, and they're able to have fun together. And Jeffrey and Blake, they kind of agree with that. Jeffrey expressed that she wants to be able to be in a relationship with her friend. She wants her guy to be her friend, to be able to laugh and joke. Otherwise, it can start to feel like a roommate. Next, we see Dre and Marcia. They went off to talk, and it's a real awkward conversation. Like, I don't know why this conversation came off so awkward. I don't know what it is about Dre. Like, he seems like a nice man, like a very nice guy. Interesting. He's like I said, he's a radio personality. So I would have thought that the conversation that they would have had about kissing on the first date, and him, the way he just expressed himself, it just was like, what is happening here? What is going on? This is boring. She looked bored. It starts raining, and Marcia books it. Like, she got out of Dodge so fast, and he just sitting there in the rain. I'm like, why you didn't go after her? Like, Dre, come on. You giving homie vibes. Like, you trying to be in love, or you trying to... And then women like Marcia, you got to come correct. Be assertive. Be, confident. Take a little bit of Blake and put it in you. Just a little bit. Because I think he had it. Like, I think he's such a wonderful guy. Maybe, some people need to get adjusted to the cameras and being there. In such an environment, it was a lot. And, couple that with all the beautiful women, I can see that it could be a little nerve-wracking. People could be a little bit awkward, but that wasn't a good look. It just was, I was cringing for him. So, yeah, Dre, I'm gonna pray for you, because you're a good guy. It's just, dang, I don't know. So then Suanne, Blue, and Natasha are seated together. Suanne announces that she's a great dater, like, just out the blue, like, this. Yeah, okay, you're a great dater. Natasha, like, what, you want a medal? Like, and I'm like, yeah, but this was random. Can y'all do something with the editing? Because you have sometimes y'all have these people looking crazy. And that was one of those moments. Blake asked Morgan, can you envision your life of happiness without children? And I kind of I understand that. I was in a space where I had to really, really sit back and envision my life being full without children. I want to be able to find happiness if I'm single, if I'm motherless, or if I am, a wife and have some kids. I think it's very important that you find the value and the happiness in both scenarios. So Morgan says that she's in love with herself. Again, another awkward edit. And then Blake says, so then you really don't need the man, you just want the kid. And I'm like, what is going on with this editing? Like, I don't understand the conversation. The flow of the conversation doesn't seem like, it seemed like they cut out an important part of the conversation. But if they did not cut out an important part, Morgan's response of "you are crazy" makes sense and is accurate. That's just my opinion. But I don't know, like, y'all chopping and screwing this show, but it's not making sense a little bit, because these conversations aren't having a natural flow. It's very choppy. Next, we see Jeffrey and Andre. They're having a conversation. Jeffrey expresses that when she first saw Andre, she thought that he was a jokester, but then she became intrigued by his accent. They share that they're very spiritual, and Andre likes that she is soft. Then Natasha and Blake are sitting having a conversation. At first, Blake found her to be bubbly, and he was intrigued. Then Natasha was, having a conversation with him about meeting people on apps. She's like, it doesn't work for me. And he was like, yeah, it doesn't really work for me either. I don't do the apps. I like to go out and meet people. And she just wasn't feeling him. I think she just was like, I don't like this guy. And she made it very clear when she says, I don't like men who look good or something. She said, I don't want my man to look too good. And then she was like, I don't even know why I told him that. But I think it was subconscious, like her subconscious telling him that, you don't have a chance here. He also let her know that he has 3 kids, 22, 14, and 9. He was very clear that he has checked that box and he doesn't want any more kids. Keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in mind, because a conversation that he has later on, it's like, wait a minute. Why are you changing up your tone now? Because that's not what you said when you were sitting with Natasha. So after that, you see he's in confessional, and he says at that point that his least connection was with Natasha. And I'm just like, is it because she made it clear that she wasn't into you? But then he explained, like, he just felt like as if their conversation was like 2 strangers sitting in a bar, and it just wasn't a match. And based on the conversation, I agree. Yeah, they were not a match. Natasha tells him that she only saw him smile one time. He's like shocked that she would say something like that. He's like, I've been smiling the whole time. He has, but it's been a performative smile, not like a sincere one. It's more so like a smile like, yeah, like, yeah, yeah, that kind of way, to really mask that I'm not feeling what you're saying. Not something genuine and from deep within. So she pegged him correctly, but yeah, they're not a match. They should not. So Tommy gathers the group all over again, and they saying thank you to Simone and Rashid for coming and speaking with them, and Simone gives her parting words, and then Rashid gives his parting words, and he's like, then he comes to Simone, and it's like giving this heartfelt, passionate speech, and next thing you know, we see them get engaged, and oh my goodness, I was so happy for Simone and Rashid. I thought that was such a beautiful display. She was like, you can tell she was really, really shocked. She got down on her knees and was like, just blown away. So I did watch Simone and Rashid's accounts of what happened regarding that engagement, because some people online were like, no, we saw them get engaged somewhere else. It was a party and all her family was around. He said that what he did was he really proposed to her there on OWN for the first on the show. But he wasn't allowed to tell the world that they're engaged on the show. So he had the foresight to plan a party that night, flew her friends and family, his friends and family, to Miami, and they had a party, an engagement, a surprise engagement party. So when you see him in the photograph on his knees, he's not really proposing. He's just giving a picture, and she's just acting. So what we saw on the show, that was a real proposal. What we saw on Instagram, that was at the party, the surprise engagement party. Okay, so yeah, I was really, really happy for her. Really, really happy for him. And I just wish that, I get the same type of blessing in my life, an actual engagement that leads to marriage. So, we're going to pray for them, right? We're going to pray that they have like a lifetime of bliss. Congratulations to Simone and Rashid. All right, so now we are at a bar. What the hell? So now we're at a bar with Z and DeMarco. He's sharing his background, his family background, having a vulnerable moment with her, telling her that, the sister passed away, and, he's very close to his family. And, Z is very much interested in what he has to say. He asked her, can she deal with an alpha man? And she's like, I love alpha men. I love dealing with them. But the question is, can he deal with an alpha woman? And it turns him off. You can tell, like, he's like, no. He has this look on his face that he really didn't question that. He didn't appreciate that question. And then the rest of the conversation, you can see, like, he just kind of fizzled her out in his mind. Ladies, you can't be boastful about being an alpha woman. It's a turnoff for these men who claim to be alpha men. Although I don't think anyone should be calling themselves alpha anything. That's really for wolves. But in any event, I understand what you mean. He's a man's man. And so if you're going to ask a man, can you handle me as a woman? That's going to be insulting to that man. So I don't know why she would have said that if she loves dealing with alpha men. So anyway, we're sitting down is Corvea, Mercedes, Morgan, Blake, and Blue. And they're all discussing family and kids. And that's when Blue announces that he has a 5-year-old. And Corvea asks if they want more kids. This is where Blake said he's 80% positive that he does not. And I'm like, mentiro. Like, that is a lie. That is a blatant lie. Morgan just kind of got up and just beeline to the left. But Blake continues and explains that if all the stars align and everything is perfect with this woman, then it's a possibility for him to have more kids. Sir, that's a no. That's a no. You're saying that if everything is ideal and perfect, then it's just a possibility that you would want to have kids with her. That's a no. You're not saying, what is 13% yes, I will have a kid? Like, no one's going for that, But I think that he changed up his tongue when he got around Corvea and Mercedes, because either production told him, like, listen, you telling these women you don't want kids, they're not going to want you. These are young women. Or he likes Corvea and Mercedes a bit more than he did Natasha, and he wanted to seem a bit more of a prospect for them because, these are young girls. I mean, they're grown women, excuse me. But these are young women. They're going to want kids. And so he asked Mercedes, they, he asked Mercedes and Corvea, is that a problem? And they're like both in agreement that that's a point of contention, because they can see straight through that answer. Like, you don't really want kids. Like, stop trying to pass a 6 for a 9 over here. We know what you're really saying. So he asked them, do they have a cutoff age? And Corvea made it very, very clear, emphatically, no. She looked forward to having kids, and she will have kids. So conversation should be cool right there, right? Yeah, it's done. Okay. But no, Blake got to keep on and say, oh, so you would be fine if the dad is not around. You'll be cool with the kid being, but you'll be cool if you have a broken kid. So Corvea was like, just to clarify and make sure she heard him correctly, she asked if the child only has one parent around. If the child only has one parent around, you think that child is broken? And he declared yes. So this is where I'm like, okay, Blake, you don't know how to talk to people. That's your problem. You don't understand. The kid is not broken if there's only a one parent house. The household may be broken from an ideal standard, but no child is broken. You don't know if they have male influences from outside. Yes, it would be ideal if, the 2-parent household, they get both feminine and masculine energy and mindsets instilled into them. But to say that a child will be broken, considering you have not one, not two, but 3 kids, and you didn't marry not one of their mothers, are your kids broken? Is that what you're saying? So if you had the kids, your kids are 22, and then the next one is 14, and then the next one is 9, you didn't learn that you need to at least be in the household with at least one of your kids, since your idea is that they would be broken. So you just out here breaking up kids' homes. Having broken kids. You think that's okay for you to say? I don't know. Like, that was not smart. That was not nice. That was very, very ugly and very, very telling of the type of man that you are. And I was very disgusted. I was very glad to see that Corvea and Mercedes just exit the conversation, because that was very, very off-putting. In the confessional, Corvea said she doesn't mind a man having opposing and challenging views, but she don't appreciate being belittled and that condescending tone. And I agree. Like, he was just, if the conversation was edited and that is what we saw, you could just imagine how it must have been in person. He got a lot of work to do on himself. Okay, he don't need to be on Ready to Love. So then Tommy talks to the guys, and the guys have like Mercedes, Morgan, and Jeffrey at the top. And they have like Zuleika and Natasha on the bottom. And Tommy goes to the girls, and they have Tony, Blue, and Andre as their top picks. They joke about Lyndon, having a roommate, and one girl said he's giving broke, and I was like, oh, that wasn't nice. That was a little bit judgmental. Especially in a city like Miami or New York or LA, it's very expensive, and it's not too surprising to see that a man would be having a roommate. You don't know a person's circumstance. So I just felt like that wasn't necessary. You didn't need to give all of that. But hey, that's their standards, and that's what they want. So, and they have Drake on the bottom and Dre on the bottom and Blake on the bottom as well. In the end, they picked Dre to go home and Natasha to go home. Now, I don't understand these girls. And whatever they get from Blake, they more than deserve, because yes, Dre is a little he's a little goofy, he could be refined, right? He needs some work. But you guys know that Blake is definitely not what you want. He's definitely not okay. You guys are saying that he is arrogant, he's a butthole, he's condescending. That is the general consensus from these women. But you pick for Dre to go home because he's short. Whatever you guys get, whatever aggravation that you get from Blake, you more than deserve, because you had the opportunity to get rid of him. I'm not sure if that was a production move there, like to get rid of Dre and keep Blake. But if it's not, ladies, you gotta do better. So that was the end of episode 1. We shall see what unfolds from there, but I don't know, this cast, I like this cast for the most part. They had some good options. The women always bring it. They always look great. Again, my favorites so far are Morgan. She really stood out to me, and I really like Blue. He really stands out to me as well. So it should be interesting to see where this goes. I'm gonna be back with the episode, following this show. Also, I will start to follow Harlem once it's released on February 3rd. So look forward to that. And I just want to thank you all for, coming in and tuning in. So until next time, be sure to ask yourself, what's love without you? Anytime you're feeling low, and be sure to make it a great one. I'll talk to you soon. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let's get a dialogue started and share this video. All right. Thank you. Bye.